Hi, Lyssa here. Today I want to talk about toxic friends. We've all had them. We've even liked them, loved them, and spent a great deal of time with them. And yet, aren't they really the stuff of exhaustion, guilt, and ultimately pain? So, today, let's take a look at pulling up the blinders, getting a little bit more clarity around what are indicators of toxic friends so that you can protect yourself from them and make better choices about who you spend your time with. So when I talk about toxic friends, one of the things I really want to share is this. Every one of us is capable of behaving in toxic ways, and yet we may not be a toxic friend. So we've all worn the hat that says, I'm acting like a jerk, and it's not a pattern of behavior that's continual. So it's in these patterns of behavior that I want you to pay attention. So some signs that you might be dealing with a toxic friend. I think one of the first indicators is you start to believe that you don't trust them. Their words and their actions are out of alignment. So they tell you one thing, they behave in another way, and there is a complete mismatch between their words and their actions. This is a classic sign that you're dealing with somebody who's behaving like a jerk and could ultimately be toxic. They push past your no. When you create a boundary, they are the first person to really push you past it. I don't really want to go to XYZ. Come on, come on, come on, which really leads us to emotional manipulation. Well, I do this for you. If you were a good friend, you would. If you loved me, you would do this thing you don't want to do. Pushing past your no is a huge sign that somebody doesn't respect your boundaries. And here's the deal. If you don't respect your boundaries, very few other people will either. So being able to hold the boundary and notice when people are trying to push past it is super helpful. Your family and other friends, maybe friends you've had for a very long time, don't like them. And it isn't just like one person doesn't like them because they feel like you're spending more time with your new friend or there's some sort of jealousy issue. It is that there's a consensus across the board of people that you know and trust and who don't have any ulterior motive to not like this person. And yet they're like, I just don't really enjoy spending time with this person. I feel uncomfortable around them. I don't want to hang out with the two of you. Something to pay attention to. One of the signs that I know I experienced in one toxic friendship that I had was every time I was with this person, I walked away feeling like I wasn't smart enough, wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't thin enough, I wasn't enough. I ended up feeling really bad about myself, and I would walk away with this sense of, I don't know, just self-criticism that there was something intrinsically wrong with me. And it wasn't anything specifically that they were doing, but it might have come through with the tone, the rolling of their eyes when I said something like, oh God, here we go again. There were a myriad of different factors that led me to the conclusion that I was doing something wrong, and therefore I didn't feel good about myself. There's a pattern of avoidance of any form of responsibility. And conversely, the other side of the coin is there's also blame. So this person is really good at blaming everybody else and not taking any ownership themselves. And one of the things that I've learned throughout my life is that even when I'm in the middle of a conflict, there's my side of the street, right? There's the baggage that I'm bringing along to the conversation. And there's also the other person's side of the street. I'm not responsible for their side of the street. I'm absolutely responsible for my own. And yet when you're dealing with a toxic person, they don't have a side of the street. They're a victim. They didn't do anything wrong. Nobody should ever be treating them this way. And all the focus is out versus any personal acceptance of any responsibility. So that's another key indicator. The relationship can feel very one-sided. Like and Stephen Covey talks about the emotional bank account. I don't think he's the only one, but I remember him talking about it in the sense of, are we depositing or withdrawing from this emotional bank account that is between two people? And in a toxic friendship, there are a lot, like a shit ton of withdrawals and very few deposits. So you end up making lots of deposits. You're listening to their problems. You're helping them out. You're supporting them emotionally, financially, physically, who knows? You're doing a lot of support, and you find yourself, you're rowing in this boat, and you got this person in there giving you a lot of direction, giving you a lot of, weight in your boat, and yet they're not doing very much to help you. So pay attention to when you feel like you're the only person rowing your boat. There's also a desire and enjoyment of stirring the drama pot. This is a friend who often is like talking about other people behind their back, talking up the story. They've got a lot to say about drama. Not a lot of solutions to reduce drama, but lots of ideas about how to up the ante of the drama. They enjoy it. And it's a really important thing to pay attention to. I remember having a friend at one point, and she talked badly about a lot of people when they weren't in the room, right, behind their back. And at first I thought, I didn't really engage very much. Then I found myself engaging in it. And so I was like, wow, I don't like how I feel about myself, because now I'm doing this behavior also. And at some point, the shoe is going to drop, and I was the one being talked about when I wasn't in the room. It's only a matter of time. And I remember at that point, I was like, no more gossip ever, under any circumstance. If I have something to say to somebody, I'm going directly to them and say, I didn't like this. I might bounce it off a few, like a really good close friend, like, am I crazy? Am I upset about nothing? But there's a safety in having a person who you can trust, who you can talk to bounce these ideas off of, and talking to a whole room of people about what you don't like about somebody. So paying attention to that. I talked a little bit about the emotional manipulation piece, but emotional manipulation is really the stock and trade of a toxic relationship. If I can make you feel bad and get you to change your mind, step over your no, and do what I'm asking you to do, it's a win for me. So paying attention to that. And this general lack of empathy that somebody might have for other people's feelings. And look, we can all be a toxic person at some time. We're in a bad mood. We don't feel good. We're hungry. There's a myriad of reasons why that might happen. Yet paying attention to these indicators will help you look at your friendships and then choose wisely. So here's to choosing wisely. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and don't be a toxic friend, and protect yourself from all those toxic friends you might have. Cheers.